Good morning, everybody. Jayy here with another War of the Visions video, and today is part 2 of our, let's call it the Winter Unit Extravaganza. I don't know what you want to call it. Call it whatever you want. But this is going to be the Winter Vinera preview video, where we talk about, like, what I think is maybe going to be good about her, what I think is maybe going to be bad about her, why she is home screen meta material. If you get it, you get it. And just kind of all the things that I think, whether you should pull her, whether I'm going to try and pull her, and what she kind of means for this game. Alright, before we get into that, if you're thinking about pulling her and you need some visiore, and think about using my Amazon coin link down in the description to buy some Amazon coins, help support the channel, save yourself some money, and that's my spiel on that. Let's move on. Okay, let's put some basic stats for Vinera on the board. What are we looking at here? Okay, let's highlight what is going to be like good, in my opinion. So first thing, notice that again, the TMR is not highlighted. I think it's neat, but I don't think it's something that you would like build her just for that. It's not going to be a game-changing TMR, so I'm not going to say a whole lot more about that. Also, again, notice her mastery ability is highlighted. It gives her 20% attack. Cool, that's always just a nice buff. But it's that earth buff, HP 10%, earth attack 15, that again, new units are starting to have. So note that, keep that in mind when you're thinking about this unit. Now, her stats. HP and attack highlighted. She has almost 4,000 base HP. That's like tank levels of HP. And I really like to see that because I don't know that she's a true tank. Like, we'll see when she comes out, like if people play her and pull her, but she has tank level of HP. But look at that attack, 502, that's nice base attack. Now that's helped by her master ability, sure, but you can do serious damage with that amount of attack. And I think she's going to be a serious damage dealing unit. 60 agility, hey, for a tanky unit, 60 agility, she's going to be speeding around the battlefield. Move 3, jump 2, love that. 8 spirit and 10 defense base, okay. She's tanky, bruisery, whatever you want to say. I like having that base defense and spirit to work with. She's very resistant to lightning, which is again an element that's in the game a lot. She has decent resist to slashing and melee damage, like punching damage. And she's very resistant to magic, surprisingly, 15%. Now, she's not going to be good at tanking, piercing, and missile. She's negative 10 to pierce and negative 15 to missile. So, again, if you're thinking about this unit, think like, hey, what do I like to play? What units are on my team? What do I play against a lot? And specifically, that magic resist is really intriguing to me. Before we move on from there, this page anyway, let's look. Her element is earth, so she pairs really well with earth elements with her buff. And her jobs. Okay. She's got that new pugilist job that Raldor had. She also has ninja, so you know she's going to have some like speed tuning for herself. You're going to be able to adjust her speed up and down. And Spellblade is interesting for multiple reasons that we'll talk about when we get to that sub job. But just know that like Spellblade's important for this unit. Let's go next though. Let's look at the next screen. Okay, support abilities and counter abilities. She's got a lot of good support abilities. I actually don't think any of them are bad. One of them is a skill upgrade that adds accuracy to one of her buffs. There's situations where that could be good. I don't know that it's one of her best ones. She has an agility and luck increasing sub-job. That's from the ninja. We knew that was coming. Awesome. Also from ninja that I want to shout out real quick is that last one. Move 1, jump 1. This girl can cover some ground. Like you're talking about, if I rate her ever for movement, she's looking at that 100 movement level. She move 5 or something, like her movement is going to be in, or she's going to have move 4, jump 3 with just that equipped. That's awesome. You throw a TMR that buffs her movement, you're looking at move 5. Wow. Okay, she also has HP and attack buff from Pugilist that gives a 24% attack increase along with a 12% HP increase. Now that 24% attack increase is important because she has massive base attack. So you're getting a massive boost from the buff. Now, if you upgrade it, which is probably come from her EX job later, she's also going to get 30 defense penetration, which is cool. Okay, Spellblade. This is going to be, if you want to run her as like a magic tank, it'll give her 12 more magic resist to go on top of her already impressive 15 base. So she's going to be like an anti-magic unit, which is kind of interesting and has a lot of potential with Sakura out right now and with Yuna coming out later. All right, counter abilities. She's got the really cool one that Raldor has that has like a 50% chance to proc on it. I really like that one. Like, I love the idea of a fighter just having a 50% chance to just punch you back. Like, oh, you punch me, take that. And then she also has a cool magic one that has a 20% chance of just reducing magic damage by 45%. That's probably the one you're running if you're running her as like a magic tank or magic bruiser. Okay, let's look at her pugilist job, main job and sub job. Okay, all of her pugilist main job abilities are good. Some of them are situational, but they're all good. She's got the gap closer for 14 AP. Another way for her to just like move really far and then finish closing the gap. Like, you'll actually have to be careful with this ability that she closes the whole map on turn 1 if you don't want her to do that. But there are some really cool benefits to doing that, including preventing the enemy team from buffing. What do I mean? I see a build with this girl where you make her the fastest unit on the map on turn 1, and you give her like movement up support ability. And then on turn 1, she charges at the enemy and gap closes for 14 AP. Now, instead of buffing or whatever the enemy was planning on doing their first turn, they're all going to hit her. Now, if she's tanky enough to survive those hits, you've completely disrupted the enemy team's movement, and if your team can get in range to follow up on that, that's kind of a cool idea. Okay, she also has a buff for herself that increases max HP by 20% for 3 turns and increases defense by 15 for 3 turns. So nice little bruiser ability. She's got a human killer AoE attack that upgrades. She's got a an attack like Raldor that gains damage as she takes damage. So again, if she's in the enemy's team back line and they're hitting her back, well, her damage is going to increase with I believe they called it God Killer in the video. So that's a really cool ability. She's got a buff for herself and her allies that increases strike attack by 40 and defense pin by 20. Really good. And then she's got a defense debuff for 3 turns and a healing down debuff for 3 turns at range, which is pretty cool. Right? Kane has that, but I think he's the only one right now we have that has that. So it's neat to add another one of those to the game. And it might be good for some PvE events if the PvE boss has healers with them or something. Okay, for her sub job, she's got a self-heal that's kind of weak. And unless you're running her with like a magic team, it's really not going to... I don't know, it's just actually, never mind. It's just a 30% self-heal. That's not as bad as I think it is. Actually, that's kind of good. I don't know if the AI will use it a lot, though. We'll see, hopefully. And then she has an attack that decreases attack by 40% base for 3 turns on the unit, and by an additional 8% for each time she's received damage up to 40. So there's a potential for a 79% attack debuff. Although, you know, getting it to that level is going to be tough. But you could play her with, like, in manual PvP, I guess you could play her with, like, some really low damage mages and just have them, like, bop her. And then her one attacks will hit harder. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, let's look at her other sub-jobs. Ninja, I don't know. I'm not enthralled with any of Ninja's, like, actually activated abilities. Some of them are okay, and I'm sure people will be like, yeah, she's got the guaranteed hit. All right, cool. But Spellblade is a lot more interesting to me. If you want to run her as like a magic tank or magic bruiser, I think Spellblade's where you go, because she's going to have access to that 38% magic resist buff. At this point, her magic resist is like 60 something. And if you give her some gear, it's like 70 something. So that's really good. Then she has access to Taunting Spell, so she can be a magic tank if you build her for it, and if you run Taunting Spell. Cool. I like my tanky characters having access to hate generation, and she has access to one of the better hate generation spells in the game. Then she has a magic damage shield 50% for 3 turns for self only. So it's the paladin's physical shield, but the Spellblade's version of the magic version of that. I said version a lot, y'all know what I mean. Okay, really good ability for that use. And then her limit break is kind of like Eileen's, right? A little bit of range, a lot of AP, does big damage after decreasing earth resistance. Is literally just like a copy and paste of Eileen's, I feel like. So it's okay, but the AP cost on it's really high. All right, let's talk now about like who she would pair good with, who you should pull, who should pull her, will I pull her, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Like, I'm gonna try to get at least one of these winter units. I think I like Christmas Victoria more, but it's really close. Like, I think Winter Vinera, well, they're very different. Whichever one I get, like, I'm hoping there's some kind of guaranteed you can get one or the other. And if I can do that, whichever one I get, I will build and make teams with. Now, with Winter Vinera, if you have Raldor, here's his partner in crime. You got him another pugilist. Now you can actually build pugilist team, and that's pretty cool. So if you're playing Raldor a lot, I think Christmas Vinera is something you should get. It's right up your alley. At least it's another punching unit that's not Jayy, right? Who else would pair well with her? Well, you could stack the earth buff with Ryryu. If you have zombie Ryryu, which I do have and I like to use a lot, hey, now you're talking about 2 of those earth allies HP 10% and earth attack 15 buffs stacking on each other. I really like that. And maybe you use Mont a lot. Hey, giving Mont more HP and more earth attacks, pretty cool. So if you use earth units a lot, Killfay comes to mind. She might be the girl for you. If I pull her, she's going to be the girl for me. So look forward to like an actual detailed review with like team comps and fights and stuff for one of the 2 units we've reviewed in the last, or previewed in the last 2 days, coming up if I can get them. So that's what I got for you today, guys. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to talk about any of this stuff, check out the Twitch stream. I'll be live usually weekdays about 4 o'clock Central, 5 Eastern. Links in the description. It's on the screen. Check that out. And then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And good luck with your polls, because when this video comes out, it's polling day. So either stay strong or good luck. I'm going to need it. See you next time.